Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Here to Serve. I am your host, Alex Black. Joining me on the cast, as always, is Alejandro. We are going to play green cards today.
We are, and let's just back up a second. That was not a commitment to release these weekly. Just putting that out there.
It just so happens that we have released one every week thus far. So
Thus
I feel
far,
like
May-
I feel
maybe
like
sometimes less, maybe sometimes more.
Ooh,
Just
sometimes more. Doubtful, but possible, technically. Um, yeah, so we,
there are
last
more
week,
than just two of us on this podcast. Like there could
that's
be more
true.
content that rolls out that we're not even involved with.
That's true. Hey, yeah. And we're also accepting applications for new members. So,
I
I don't
did
know.
not
I don't
know
know.
that.
Yeah, yeah, news to you. Just because of my eminent lack of free time. But no, I
For sure.
just, I just,
I mean, hey,
yeah.
if we're gonna
So
get an applicant, you never know. The position doesn't pay anything, but
yeah,
if you want to
yeah,
come hang out with us sometime.
yeah, indeed. Yeah. So we're gonna play green cards this week. We are on our journey to traverse the current Thrones metagame, and it seemed like it was about time to play Tyrell. A faction I
About
think that's
time
in
to
the
play base, I think is the truth there.
time to play what?
Time to play mace.
Time to play Mace, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a time of Mace. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I suppose there are probably some other things going on in Tyrell, but the Mace redesign is still quite strong. No longer a restricted card, so it allows you to play it with some cards that it hasn't been seen with. Um, Give me just a second. Yeah, so Mace is definitely the reason to play Tyrell right now. He's still quite good, even with the redesign. Definitely seems a little bit more fair, but certainly still very strong.
He's like an incredible utility card and an incredibly powerful closer at the same time.
Yeah, it's a potent combination for sure. Um, why don't you tell the watchers what agenda we're going to play today? I know there was some consternation, perhaps, or some discussion at least had outside of the recording as to which agenda we would play today. And just disclaimer, we're not saying this is the best Mace deck. It's just the Mace deck we're playing today.
Yeah,
What
disclaimer, we're not saying any of these decks are the best X decks.
Yeah, the best of
Um,
anything. We don't
yeah.
know. Who are we? Who are we to say?
Uh, Nobody certainly.
Yeah,
Certainly now.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, what agenda
Um,
are we pairing with this
oh yeah.
beautiful Tyrell faction card?
What are the new ones? I've never played it before. I have. I don't particularly know exactly what it does. Um, but the many-faced god uh, reduces the cost of the first card you ambush by one each round. Um,
You missed that first
also
line
has
of
a.
text.
Oh yeah. The restriction is you cannot include kingdom plot cards. I mean, it's a good thing that there's no good kingdom plots in the deck in the game, so
Yeah, I think
we won't be missing out on much.
did we just choose this agenda so that we could no longer play like three big money plots in our plot line?
It's the only way it's gonna happen. So
That's right. Yeah. The last bit of text on this card, action, kneel your faction card. Doesn't Mace have a faction, Neil? What are we doing?
I don't know, man.
Kneel your faction card to choose a character and a player. Until the end of the phase, that character gains each of the printed challenge icons, keywords, faction affiliations, and traits on top of the top character in that player's dead pile. So we've been away from the game for quite a while. Apparently, there was a really brutal Tyrell many-face god or some many-face god deck that was turning things into mercenaries and then or allies and then dissensioning them or grabbering them, and so I think those cards all got put in a pod together. They all got put in timeout. So perhaps we've missed the heyday of the many face god agenda. That being said, um, the deck we're going to build today is going to have a lot of ambushy stuff going on, and we might even make use of the second part of the agenda. Um, yeah, I mean,
The deck probably doesn't even need any money, so it's all good.
no, who needs money?
Yeah,
We're off money.
that's right.
He
Done with
said with
that.
an
Now now we like plots that do things.
he said with an entirely straight face. Okay, yeah, Tyrell Manyface God, for better or for worse. Okay, so I know that, like you said, you haven't even played this agenda yet. I have played it a little bit, but we have already established that our deck is going to be based around the one and only Mace Tyrell. None of this six cost Mace nonsense, by the way. I mean, it does have an interesting trait in the small council, and I do like drawing cards. That being said, we're in it for seven cost Mace all the way. I mean, look at that face. You know?
Yeah, I mean the other card is super intriguing. Unfortunately, it's got the same name, so
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus's younger brother in this picture. Okay, so I think any good Mace deck or any good character deck, really Tyrell character deck, is going to want to be playing uh, four of this card, and that is the High Tower. You got any objections to that?
that
Yeah, I mean this card was good back in the day. It's still good now. It hasn't been touched. I mean, it is expensive, but I think especially when you're playing a deck that's going to be ambushing characters in the challenges phase, we've got the mace trigger. We've got other ways to get characters into play outside of marshaling and challenges phases. So we're going to be triggering the high tower as often as possible. It's just a nice, not non-limited economy and draw engine. Um, there's not a whole lot more to say about this. I think one of the things
yeah,
that go ahead. You have
yeah.
apparently more to say about it.
We mentioned that like one of the reasons we play Tyrell is because of Mace, but also because of the economy and draw engines that Tyrell provides, right? So
Indeed.
High Tower is a big part of that.
Yeah, why don't you talk about the economy, Tyrell, a little bit? And maybe, I don't know if you have sort of um, opinions about how best to formulate such an economy structure.
It's
Um,
actually fairly challenging.
I agree. Yeah,
Like there's just there's a lot of really good options, so it's hard to know which one to go with.
right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're playing this card, the Arbor, which you cannot dupe on setup. That being said, what is your sort of school of thought when it comes to these unique, limited, splashy locations? Are you in the play as many of them as possible so you see them on setup as often as possible? Are you in the play a single copy of each so that you never draw a dupe? Are you somewhere in between? Do you think one is better than the other? The other I'm talking about is red wine straits.
Right, right. Yeah.
Um,
I think so.
where
I
do
think
you
that I
fall usually on
used
those?
to. I think that I used to play three red wine straights, one arbor, but
Okay.
I don't have like strong feelings around this, so I can I can maybe straight it otherwise.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that if we actually wanted to sort of, once we built the deck, we wanted to look at what our setup curve, like our cost curve was looking like and what our setups were really looking like. We might find um, we might find that one or the other is better. Why don't we start with three of each, knowing we're probably not going to be playing the full six?
Sure.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, are we in agreement that the full six is not needed?
Yeah, I don't think that I would play.
Okay,
I don't think I would play six. You know, six of them. Maybe we end up liking the other economy cards enough that we only play a singleton of each one of these. I don't
right,
know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That being said, I think in a deck that wants to be ambushing cards and challenges phase, we probably want just like actual gold and not reduction so much. So I think we're going to be wanting to play three Rose Roads. Um, I know Rose Roads are kind of, you know, in this weird sort of murky area for some people, especially in certain decks. I don't like them as much, but I feel like this is a deck that really does want them.
Man, we're gonna not play King's Roads again.
We might play King's Roads again, or not again.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay, this is painful. Okay.
I mean, let's say we are playing Kings Roads, and kind of take a look at the economy after that. I mean, I think we're pretty quickly falling into like every deck that's playing big characters wants to be playing at least one Great Hall.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this might be a deck where we can get away without playing Gates of the Moon. Although, like you said, maybe we play one Arbor, one Red Wine Straits, one Gates of the Moon.
I wouldn't
Um,
mind that.
so something to consider. I think since
Do we
we're
have
we
enough draw? Like, will we have enough draw that we don't even need the gate? Because you know
uh, the
the
Gates of the Moon.
gate I think is worth. No, the gate of the gods. I
Oh,
think the gates are worth considering.
I
I
th-
don't know exactly that it looks like it. You know that we're picking it in this deck, but
yeah, I think it's one of the uh, trickier of this series of limited locations. It's probably not the exact sort of archetype that we're going for, but we are probably going to be playing, five and six strength characters. So every now and again, we are just going to have, this live and able to trigger. Um, that being said, between the High Tower and this other card I want to talk about, Old Town, we have,
Old Town's incredible. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's great. It's particularly good. With a number of cards in the deck that kind of care about the top card. There's one of the spies, I forget the name, and also Scheming Septon. It's just a way to draw a card and gain a power every turn if you name the correct card type. Um, that being said, do you think this card is strong enough that it warrants playing three of it?
certainly sometimes. I think especially in a deck where you're playing like you're playing Golden Grove or whatever that card is, and you can use this twice.
Mm,
Um, I think that most of the time I'm playing one or two copies of this and not three, but the card is great. Like, I wouldn't blame anybody for playing three of it.
yeah, I don't think we're playing that card. It's gonna to stand this card. Just because I don't know how many small council characters we're gonna end up playing. Because I think you have to kneel
Yeah, probably not a
something.
whole lot. Yeah,
Yeah. So I like starting with one here, and
yeah. It's a shame because the card is so good, but
mm,
um, it's
yeah,
hard to put uniques at more than 1x when you've got a lot of good options.
yeah. Someone much wiser than me once said, "Slots, man." You know, that was the whole quote.
Yeah, for sure. Right
Okay,
on.
let's hop back over to characters real quick. There's some other pretty strong choice characters in Tyrell that I think we're going to want to be playing here. The All Men Are Fools Marjorie is just still as good as it was. It's going to get us to Mace more consistently. It's going to slow our opponents down. Um, it's a renowned body. What's not to like?
Card is very, very good.
Yeah. Likewise, the other sort of big hitter in the deck, um, Renly Baratheon, King Renly. Two incredible traits, a pretty relevant reaction. I think between Renly and Hightower and Old Town, we're probably not going to need, and Scheming Septon, we're probably not going to need any more draw in the deck.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I think that the slots in the deck are going to be, as they always are, a little bit tight. So I think this any Tyrell character deck worth its salt is probably going to be starting with some amalgamation of these three characters right here, Mace, Marjorie, and Renly. And then we haven't included any cards with the keyword ambush at this point. And our agenda wants us to be playing some ambush cards, so we probably should consider some to play.
Hmm.
Um, I think the real reason to play one of the real big reasons to play this agenda is Elena's Informant. I've loved this card even back in the like Martel Rose, like attrition-y decks. When you have just lots of ways to sort of cheat characters into play in the challenges phase or ambush them in, get their interest about or get their interest play effect and eke out some small advantage and have that add up over time. In this deck, it's a little bit splashier, as we'll see um, in a little while. But with Mace to buy like informants that are currently in play, their ability by their interest play ability back. This card just really does a lot of heavy lifting in the deck, and it's relevantly traded, as we're going to find out later.
Yeah, the card is really strong. Always kind of has been. Just it's generally pretty hard for decks that like want to make a lot of challenges to be able to afford ambush for, and that's really the only reason why it hasn't seen a ton of play. Like it's kind of got to play in the more attrition-y decks or decks that want to do more challenge tricks rather than play fair
Yeah,
challenge phase. Um, so yeah, absolutely, the card goes in.
cool.
Probably going to be one of the strongest cards. We're going to play the House Floor at night and at the Palace of Sorrows combo again. Like Mace takes ratchets that up to another level because with Mace and a single House Fortnite, you're getting rid of two characters just by clicking on them, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're really looking to push like Mace synergy. So anything that has an interest play effect that we can buy back with the Mace faction meal is really going to be something we need to take a hard and fast look at, or a hard and long rather look at. So I completely agree with you. I think House Night, Mace at the Palace of Sorrows, it's still as strong of an interaction as it was back in the day. Um, so definitely a really strong reason to consider Tyrell. And when I started thinking about House Floor at Night and um, sort of how those decks want to play, I start thinking a little bit more attrition-y, which lends itself to this Elena's Informant, where you kind of you find your opponent's weak spot, and then you really try to take advantage of that with the Informant. So yeah, the deck's kind of coming together. We're going to need some more ambush characters, however. Um, one
Well,
of
that's
the
okay. The High Tower Spy is incredible, along
yeah,
with Old Town and um, Renly. There's other synergies. I don't.
yeah,
um, and the other powerful ambush effect is shrewd diplomat, and if we end up having events, we definitely want to consider the emissary.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think in terms of like the hierarchy of ambush characters in the deck, I definitely think Informant, it goes Elena's Informant, Hightower Spy, and then kind of everything else. Shrewd Diplomat, very strong ability, very expensive to ambush, um, but it has that spy trait. Why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about why we care about the spy trait? Um, a relatively new uh, event was printed in the Hear My Words expansion. It's called Behold Our Bounty, and it says after you win a challenge, return an attacking small council or spy character to your hand to raise the claim value on your revealed plot card by one until the end of the challenge. Um, so this card may look somewhat unassuming at first. Um, uh, I certainly didn't fully grok um, this card's true potential when I first read it. How about you?
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that I even knew this card existed before you mentioned it.
Yeah, so it's essentially it's a claim raise, which we've had other forms of claim raise throughout uh, Game of Thrones, but it
And
costs
they're
zero.
generally pretty good, right? Like you
Mhm.
know, that the fact that you're trading a card for almost always another card, right? Like either
Right,
entry claim or military claim,
exactly.
um,
Yeah.
makes them pretty worthwhile. So
Yeah, the power creep. No, you're fine. The power creep of the game has been such that cards like Winter is Coming have sort of seen less and less play over time. Although recently we saw the super exciting German Nats deck that played all winter plots and a bunch of claim raising effects to great success. This one is that, but it also is something else. I think
yeah,
in
I
a
mean the return to hand effect is sweet, right?
mhm,
Like it's that's the kind of thing that's often portrayed as a bad thing, but it's not, right? Like we saw the same thing on the Hound, where like,
right.
oh, it goes back to hand. Okay, great, cool. That's exactly what I want to do with the cards that do
Yep.
things when they enter play.
Exactly. It allows us to buy back those interest play effects. It allows us to mitigate sort of board swell. Um, it just, I think in this case, it's mostly a bonus. Like we talked last week about in Burn, playing against decks where the characters come into play, they have an effect, and that's largely like 75% of their worth. Obviously they're a body to make challenges or to defend or it's for claim soak or whatever. But a lot of these spy characters are just that. They're characters that have an effect when they enter play, and that's really what you're paying for. Most of what you're paying for. And the body is less important. So getting that interest play effect back, really, to me, this card reads like a 2-for-1 for no gold.
Mhm.
All you have to do is trigger the condition, you know, which
Yeah, win a
which
challenge, which is the thing you're gonna
mhm,
do. It's just playing the game.
that's right. So we're gonna try to build a deck that really leverages this card and see what we can get out of it. So let's go back to characters real quick. You mentioned some of the other ambush options. Um, we let's go ahead and start with three of all of the big ambushy characters, or not big, but three of all of the you know the the, the options that tend to see play, and that would be Emissary of the High Tower. That's going to allow us to replay an event from our discard pile by paying its costs. Behold Our Bounty costs zero, so having just three more copies of Behold Our Bounty in the deck seems like a decent place to start. Old Town Informer, Ambush 2, when enters play, you bestow it, and then you draw and discard equal to the bestow cost. A card that's seen a lot of abuse over the years in various decks. And another decent form of not card advantage, but card filtering, really just to improve the quality of the cards in our hand. And finally, Shrewd Diplomat, as you mentioned, just a really powerful ability if you have the money for it. I think the if you have the money for it is going to be the important part here. So if we're not hurting to play, the extra three spies, I could see this card maybe falling by the wayside just because of how expensive it is. Um, so another reason to play Tyrell is that I know you were upset because we're not going to play Kings Roads, but we're almost certainly playing the event of Kings Roads as our restricted card, and that is somewhere in here. Is it the? It's always the. There it is. The Bounty of High Garden. I mean, really,
Card is
just
awesome.
just a fantastic card. I mean, it can't be canceled. You're gonna net 3 gold. Um, it is a limited, so you can't play in conjunction with any of the limited locations. But um, just a really solid economy card, as if Tyrell needed more solid economy cards. Probably the best economy card in the deck. It's a really big tempo boost. Obviously, the boon doesn't stick around, but I think you take advantage of the tempo play, much like a King's Road. Um, you know, this card is quite good. It's also been abused in lots of decks, which is why it has this restricted, uh, modifier to it. Um, there's also a new character that's been released recently, or somewhat recently to me, that's going to give us the ability to buy back some of our events, much like our emissary, and that is
Orton, right there. I think it was Orton.
Otto. Where is he? Orton, rather, not Otto. Orton. Orton Merriweather. I've got House of the Dragon on the mind. I was thinking Otto Hightower, um, which would be a cool card to have eventually. But yeah, Orton Merriweather. So after a player marshals or plays a small council card, you can return an event from your discard pile. Limit once per phase. Interrupt. When Orton leaves play, put a non-unique spy character into play from your hand. Both of those things sound awesome in the deck we're building.
Yeah.
Um, play him, buy back a Beholdar bounty, buy back a bounty of Highgarden. He leaves play either through military claim or some other means like Mace Trigger. Put a spy into play for free. You know, um, I think like this card is definitely going to be a superstar in the deck. I think I want to play 3 of this card. Is that insane?
It does sound pretty nuts. I mean, let's do it. I don't.
The
I don't
downside
know
is
that I would do that, but I
obviously
haven't.
it kind of holds a similar spot to me as like an Ariane, which I always had a tough time playing 3 of. But this one doesn't cause itself to leave play. You have to have some other form of returning it to hand. I could easily see this being a one of, but it's also a small council character, which means it also triggers our Beholder bounty. So it returns. So when you win a challenge with Orton and you have a Beholder bounty, it's going to return to hand, and you're going to get to put a spy into play, and you're going to get the claim raise. So you're really just going off at that point.
Sounds
So
good. I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so we need a couple more cards. We already have a lot of faction meal going on in the deck. Is it insane to what if I want to play the Iron Mangle Habits too?
Oh boy. Um, I the card you always want to play this card in like challenge shenanigans decks because it's a surprise that people can't see coming, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't think it's ridiculous to play it, but it is
So
it is
we're
pricey.
also we're also playing a House Florent Knight deck, which I love playing Iron Mangle Habits do in.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
Um,
Yeah, let's do it. Sure.
we're really taxing our faction meal here, but um, you know, we're gonna find out what we prioritize. I'll tell you that much. Another card that we are.
Exactly. Yeah, when we have Mason play, like it's a tough time to draw into that card, but
Mm,
um, yeah, Well,
Yeah,
let's put it in the deck, and then maybe we figure out that we can't afford um for that slot to kneel the house card, but
right.
worth exploring.
Yeah. Um, I think this is a really solid role player in the deck, Scheming Septon. Just
Yes,
a chud that draws you cards, gains you gold in the challenges phase, so you can participate in the challenge with it, and then bring it to hand, draw a card, and then, eventually ambush your characters later. I think this is a pretty solid 3 of. Um,
yes.
so we're playing Marjorie. We're not currently playing many small lords or kings. So we might want to add a couple, just sort of lower, like for the lower end of the cost curve. Um, we might want to take a look at that.
I agree. I think we're probably going to end up cutting at least a full suite, maybe a little bit more worth of the spies.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm
Um,
not too worried about the. I'm not too worried about our cards in deck right now. Just because I know we added 3 ofs a lot of cards that I don't think we're necessarily
yeah,
keeping in the deck.
yeah,
This Garth the Gross
absolutely. We're playing that.
is definitely a one of. I think maybe we're playing a Paxter, although only one of our events actually can be reduced here, so maybe we're not.
Yeah, Paxton is like often a fringe lord already.
Yeah, I think
Um,
maybe the four
and I think
cost
we're
Garland
probably
is better.
yes.
We also are going to be low on military icons. And then are we? I think the other one to consider is probably four cost Knight of Flowers.
I think I would also play one of them.
Yeah. So I know we're probably going to disagree on this, but I rarely leave home without a core Varus in my Marjorie decks. Um, just because on certain board states, you know, if people push into the Marjorie with a military challenge and you can put a Varus in play, it can be really backbreaking. That being said, I think it's one of those things where strong opponents probably won't play into that line. Um, so, maybe it's a bit of a crutch and not necessarily one we need, but I will feel awkward about it if we don't play one.
For sure, we can. I think that very often it's really hard for me to want to go get a Varus other like rather than one of the more powerful lords. I guess in this deck we're not like in this deck we're not playing the Randall that is also incredibly good in a deck that like even slightly tries to build around it, right? So
Right.
maybe it's okay.
Yeah,
But
I think the use
I
cases
like
are.
I see what you're saying. I think just usually um it, it's it's pretty yeah, I usually do not want that slot. Like
Mm,
um slot being a Varus, but
I think the
I don't
use
mind it
cases
either.
are really for those big character decks that are just going to try and stay ahead of us on board state, and they don't really care about the Marjorie trigger too much. At least the first one, because they've got Victarion and Balon, or Victarion and Euron, or Great Ranging and Corin, and all. So, um, but that being said, again, maybe it's just a crutch. Maybe we don't actually need this, and it is going to be a precious slot in the deck. So, we're currently at 63 cards. I like the look of a lot of our ratios. I do kind of want to circle back here to our econ. We're currently playing one,
Yeah, I
2,
mean we
3, 4,
definitely
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 limited cards. That's probably far too many. Um,
is it though?
to be fair, we are not allowed to play kingdom plots in this deck, but we can still only play one limited card per turn. Is there an obvious weak link here in our economy? I mean, I think I want to try what you were talking about, where you play three red wine, one arbor. Arbor is just so expensive. If you don't set it up, it's very, especially in a deck without kingdom plots, it's going to be very hard to justify ever paying for this later down the road.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas a red wine straight, I think we can justify getting into play on just about any old turn.
agreed.
Um, I
I
think
think we're
probably,
probably not playing King's Roads.
I think we
Like,
probably aren't. Yeah.
like, we really aren't marshaling it. I don't know. Hmm.
I mean, it is nice. It's going to help us get that Marjorie or that Mason play, but that's kind of what the job the Bounty of Highgarden is doing. And we have synergy with Bounty and other cards in the deck.
Yeah.
So you
All
know,
right. It's painful, but
yeah.
okay.
I mean, we could play it over Rose Road. I think that's something we could consider maybe in the second game.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we want any attachments in this deck. I
I'm
haven't really
fine with that.
been. Yeah.
I often will like either want to lean into something. I mean, I probably said this before. I don't mean, but if I'm on the edge of playing, a set of attachments or nothing, I usually just end up going with nothing. Like,
Mhm.
if you're just gonna play three milks, for example, like then you make all their attachment like super alive because it
Right.
um, has
Yeah.
a target that's worth hitting where otherwise you didn't even play on the axis, so all
Right.
those cards were dead.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, we are only playing three ways to pump strength, but we are playing a Marjorie. Do we want to be playing one? If we're not going to play Varys, do we want to be playing one core Randall? Probably.
I think so, yeah. Um,
It's
we
also
we've only
always
got we got
threatening
four,
something
right? I don't know, something like that.
for what?
Four ways to stand them, but
What
like
is the fourth way? Oh yeah, the Garland.
the
Indeed. Yeah.
yeah
Yep.
um the high tower spy. I mean, is often good enough. Like that trigger is
Mm,
insane, even if you just
it
get it
is.
once. Like
Absolutely.
um
Yeah. For sure. Okay. So we're at 59 cards. We should probably just double check we're not missing some obviously very strong candidate out of Tyrell. I don't think it's going to be a neutral card. So definitely stop me if you see anything here. Um, I've seen decks play one of Leighton Hightower. Just another way to trigger Mace or Hightower, the Hightower, outside of marshalling and challenges.
Yeah, we could do that. We didn't even talk about we're gonna get flamed, but what's the 5 cost location in this? Like
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. We're not going to talk about
wait, see.
it.
All right. Can we just cover it just because like
Sure. Yeah,
uh
it's. Are you just asking because you don't know? No, it's got a lot of text on it. Highgarden.
oh boy.
Kneel Highgarden to reveal up to three Tyrell characters from your hand. For each card revealed this way, choose a character. Until the end of the phase, that character gets +2 strength. You may choose the same character more than once. Challenges action: return a unique Tyrell character you control to your hand.
Oh boy.
I just don't know that this does enough.
Um
And
I
I
mean that's
couldn't really articulate why. Don't, I don't get
I,
the feeling
I
like
don't
this is strong enough.
I don't think it'd be crazy to just take our strategy of put a bunch of armies and a stronghold or two. I don't know if there's even another stronghold in Tyrell, but like you could do that here and just
Probably other
make it.
Highgarden, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
at both Highgardens.
Well, that's rough. Like,
That is rough, yeah.
Tyrell doesn't even get a second one. Okay.
I mean, most factions don't have a second one. Oh, I thought of something we want. This card's really, really good with Mace.
Yeah, we definitely want rid of them. And we can't play Heir to the Iron Throne, or we could throw in some little ladies.
Yeah, it's a kingdom, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's out. Why don't we talk about plots? I mean, we might be cutting some of these characters for maybe a couple more locations. Maybe we're playing like a second Old Town.
I could
Um,
get down with that.
but let's talk about plots for a little bit. We're currently at 13 locations. This doesn't. We might actually play a deck without playing Brand the Builder.
Yeah, let's. I don't know what the rest of the plot deck. Maybe let's just like we're gonna play Valor in here. We're gonna
Yeah,
play.
we're definitely playing a Valor. And I think with House Floor at Night, we definitely also want to be playing March to the Wall.
Yes. We're also playing First Snow. This looks like a First Snow deck.
Feels like a first snow deck to me.
Agree.
Um, we're gonna need some way to pay for our shit, but what are our best options for that? Probably the line of six cost or six gold, seven, the seven plots essentially.
Yeah.
Um,
What are some good ones
nope,
here?
that's a kingdom. Can't play that one. Um, don't have any attachments. Don't have any of the seven characters. Time of Plenty is
Something.
summer and not kingdom. I don't hate
Oof.
that. I mean, I don't like the plot, but um, I don't love that these all have four reserve. I think that's the one of the big reasons
Yeah,
I
that's
have
that's
no.
that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, we're gonna draw a lot of cards. So, how bad is the Tyrell plot in this? Pulling the strings.
Uh, I don't think very good.
Okay.
Right, plots are just really hard right now, actually. And
Hmm.
when you don't get to play plots with probably the best keyword, like the or that keyword has some of the best plots, it makes it even more challenging.
Right.
Is
What's
is
the?
trade routes just summer or is it also kingdom?
I'm pretty sure Trade House is Summer and Kingdom. Not to mention we are not playing uh, n- nearly enough.
Yeah, we're playing some uniques.
Yeah.
Uh, How are we gonna pay for anything?
Our our in faction economy, I think,
Okay.
is the idea. What about political disaster?
How are we gonna pay for anything?
Didn't you just ask that? Let's play time. Let's play time with plenty. We can play two time with plenty.
Oh my god.
Hey, fallen from favor is not a kingdom.
Oh boy. Hmm.
I mean, we can't get away with playing Brand the Builder. just to go get Hightower, right? Like and Econ. That's not good enough. I'm assuming.
And yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, it does draw cards. It is a five three
It's
one
got a
seven that
7
draws
reserve.
cards. Yeah,
Like
seven
it's
reserves
a
good. Maybe we just still play it. I mean, we're probably playing. Honestly, we're probably finding a way to play more of these.
sure.
Just cutting one character, 38 seems like a lot. Maybe
Oh,
Shrew.
are we playing these Old Town Informers?
Maybe.
Or that Sure Diplomat? Yeah.
I think we're playing some number, some combination, just because of the traits.
Okay.
This also costs one to ambush, and is like a good way to make sure we have we just have good cards in our hand. As long as we've got cards to like, I don't know we necessarily need three, and I don't know how often we're playing the bestow cost. Um,
Mm,
I think we want nine
okay, we need
spies though. What do we
okay.
need?
Um, I was just looking at that. We just need one more plot. Um,
Yeah, we could play.
like Riddle,
I
but
love
maybe the
I love
in-house.
Riddle. I would prefer to play
It
Riddle
doesn't.
over
It
Thanos. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, it's like not that much better either.
Sure.
What about the What about the Oh, it's got terrible reserve. Is it the father that returns a unique character that you choose to hand?
Yes.
Unique non-army.
Maybe we could try and make that work.
I don't know.
Is there a world where we're playing three Old Town?
I don't think so, but do you think it's worth it?
I think it's pretty good. I don't think we're playing three. What's better in this deck? Shrewd Diplomat or Old Town Informer? I mean, I know which one has a better ability.
Right.
Maybe we want to play a Leighton? Hey, we also have room for that Varys.
You can throw the Varys in if you want.
Alright. I say we run this. Come back and make changes after a game.
Sure, let's do it.
Alright. Alright, let's save this deck. Go ahead and do a quick sound check for me there.
Sound check, sound check.
Sweet, sweet. Okay. Alright, let's see if anybody's playing a Game of Thrones the card game.
Let's hope so.
Okay, not too
Oh,
bad.
there's a couple.
Not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna pause the recording real quick and we'll be back once we have a challenger. Okay, we have an opponent. Little Tyrell and Tyrell action. Tyrell Whitebook. I think we're mulliganing this hand.
Yes.
Um, also going to make the cards a little bigger. Night night. Okay, this is better, right?
Yeah.
So we can go like 2, 3 card and shadows. We can go 2, 4 card and shadows. Kind of like the interplay effect for Allery. We're definitely playing. I think
Yeah,
we're definitely playing red wine straights. I
yeah.
guess maybe there's a world where we're going like 3-4-1, but I don't think there's. Is there any way
I
for us
don't
to get
think
four
so.
cards into play?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
At least
I
not.
think it's
Yeah.
2-3 card and shadows.
Yep. Yep. Let's do it.
Maybe actually this is too big. These cards, yeah, I think they are going to be too big. Okay, so we're playing Shadow's opponent. Um, Interesting. So White Book, they're probably playing um, like the Kingsguard
Yeah.
stuff, which I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen a ton of, but they set
Yeah.
up
Apparently
two
there's
cards
a
in
menace right
shadows.
now, but we don't know.
Right. Two cards in shadows and an Old Town Undercity. Okay. Typically on a small board like this, I'd like to open first snow, but that doesn't seem good against our opponent. Um, Probably just develop our board with a brand the builder here. I don't know, although we do have limiteds, but I'd like to get a high tower.
Sure. Yeah. I can do. I can see behind the builder. Or time of plenty. I guess those are
Yeah.
two options.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nice.
Definitely make them first. Ooh, did you go a little hard in the paint there, little guy? Okay. So they can include, they must include 7 different Kingsguard characters. Okay. I know Boris Blunt is definitely the reason, I think, to play like a Shadows variant of this kind of strategy. But yeah, I don't have a lot of experience against that card. Okay, so they're just going to take a turn to set up everything, and that's fine. Um, Seems like a good opportunity for us to maybe get this Gates of the Moon into play.
I would agree. Yeah. I mean, if not here, where when else are we playing this code?
Right. Yeah. I just like playing it when we get to go second. I kind of like playing the Allery here and just seeing what our probably going like Allery Scheming Septum, depending on what we draw, passing with some
We're
money up.
definitely playing the scheming septon. Yeah.
Hmm. I guess maybe we want a military icon and we play the Garland.
Well, we'll get the military icon with Garth, I think, after we play the lady.
I think
Is that
it's the
right?
other way. It's the other way around. Yeah,
Oh, I
gets
see.
the
Okay.
intrigue and 2 strength. I think. Yeah. So we play Allery Septon. We go to 3. We can ambush anything or shadows any of the stuff we want, and then I kind
Yeah,
of
do
want
it.
to. I want to play this Allery. See if we can. Okay. Don't mind that because I think our hand is a little suffused with sort of spies and limited locations or economy. Yeah, I think we just play the Septon and pass here. Okay, no challenges from them. All right. Well, I guess let's just get in there for an intrigue challenge.
Yeah.
The question is, how big of an intrigue challenge? We push our luck and just go for two. I really don't know, just because I don't know enough about the new Shadows and Kingsguard cards to know what they could really produce here. But I mean, if they have a Boris Blunt, they could put a lot of strength.
You lost your head. I think Alex is working on this headset right now.
Okay. Having a bit of technical difficulties here. I think I'm just going to make this challenge with the Scheming Septon.
When does the Garth the Gross get renown? There you go.
Okay. Um,
All right. So after, I think now our third attempt at trying to record some games for this deck. We are back again. It won't seem like any time has passed for you, the listeners, and the watchers. That being said, we have now recorded games playing the Many Face God agenda. We have now recorded games where we switched to playing the Aloof and Apart agenda. And unfortunately, we had issues with all of those videos. So we're back again. And this time, we're going to change the agenda again. We were a little underwhelmed with both the Many Face God and Aloof and Apart decks for different reasons, I think. The Many Face God, we just really didn't like the agenda ability and found the faction Neil was getting used almost not at all. And not to mention the kingdom, the restriction to not be able to play kingdom plots is is fairly prohibitive. I feel like, and and then the aloof and apart deck, we were sort of trying to play an attrition deck, style deck, with an emphasis on big characters, and they were just two disparate ideas, and we felt like the deck lacked an identity. Do you have any sort of further commentary on how those two decks felt and maybe why we're shying away from those builds?
No, I think you mostly summed it up. I mean, this is kind of like one of the iteration steps. You're often playing a couple games and kind of figuring out like some key parts. I mean, we're fiddling around with the agenda, which is um probably not a great sign. Uh, if we
Yeah,
don't have a great agenda for the deck, but that's okay. Um,
yeah.
maybe the people at home will have noticed though, because we the on the original recording of this, whenever that was, we talked about we're back this week with another video, and it's been it's not this week anymore. So
No, by the time this is edited and released, it'll be closer to 2 weeks than one. We
yeah.
promise we started recording this last week, and yeah, just yeah, it's been rough in the technical department. So I think we've double and triple checked that everything should be working. So hopefully we don't have any issues tonight. Yeah, I feel like what we want to do is we want to build a Tyrell deck that can really lean into Mace and House Florent Knight and um, and some of the ambushy characters and some of the attrition-y themes. That being said, I think Many Face God is just too restrictive in terms of the kingdom plots, and the faction yield just it uh, is at odds with the other faction kneels that we want to play in the deck. And so, really, what we're just trying to do is find an agenda that lines up well with that style of deck. I think there's a very good Aloof and Apart deck that's not a Mace House Florent Knight deck necessarily, or maybe it has that in it, but it's not an emphasis.
Yeah, it probably just wins a bunch of challenges early and like
Yeah,
puts pressure on the win
exactly.
condition.
Yeah.
Um,
And since we've played a lot of decks sort of in that vein, we are going to try and switch to an agenda that might be a little bit more cohesive for our game plan. It's still an emphasis on challenges, and we're still going to play a lot of the big Tyrell characters, but we're going to go ahead and try and build this as a Reigns of Castamere deck. Um,
yeah, imagine we were playing Many Face God where the factional clashes with Mace and the restriction is on the kingdom plots, which plots are really hard right now. Like it's really hard to get a plot deck that you love. At least I think we've found so far that it's kind of hard to figure out plots so far.
mhm.
And we were just uh, you know on both of the agenda restrictions going at it with uh, Many Face God or whatever it was.
Right, and it's worth noting that Reigns of Castamere still has a faction Neil. That being said, we are going to be able to play kingdom plots. I think it remains that we're still going to be playing a lot of big intrigue icon characters, and really just the threat of activation of Reigns of Castamere is going to force our opponents to play in a certain way that I think might benefit. And we also get to play some plots that we probably wouldn't otherwise be able to fit into the deck. And Yeah, so we're gonna give it a try. No, I'm not, you know, um, strongly affirming that I think this is the right variant, but this is like you said, this is kind of a form of the iterative process of deck building and tuning. Is sometimes the deck has a theme or has sort of an identity outside of the agenda, which seems kind of backwards, but it does happen. And sometimes it's just finding the right agenda to fit sort of what you want the deck to be accomplishing. So we're going to try Reigns of Castamere. The big change, I think, out of the gate with Reigns is that we now need 5 additional plots. I think, not to mention that maybe some of our plots here might change. I think that we're still a House Florent Knight deck, so we're still playing Palace. Um, I think now we have mentioned we are going to try to lean into the attrition aspect of the deck still, which so I think that March to the Wall, First Snow, and Valor all want to remain. That being said, we had previously um, tried to fit Heir to the Iron Throne of the deck, which we still might, but it's worth noting that with Reigns of Castamere, Late Summer Feast is slightly less, um, the downside is slightly less pronounced with Late Summer Feast in Reigns. So it's possible we want to be playing 2 of that card. Um,
Uh,
what's that?
yeah, absolutely. On that point, I will say that we are playing in a. I don't know that this is really attrition, but like I will say the first no March combo has felt really bad so far. So,
Mm,
in the games that we've played so far, so I think we could be making a mistake not going away from that. Like I
okay.
think that I think that if I were to build the deck now, I would take the House Fortnite Mace combo and just like that's enough. I don't need to play any more attrition. The first snow and March just are not doing enough. They like I need that to be money instead, or like I want
Okay,
to be doing something. Like tell
sure.
me how you feel, but like
No, I think that's a reasonable. I think that's reasonable. I think I have a sort of uh, pre-built bias towards those two plots and attrition. And I think one of the things that is easy to conflate about House Florent Knight is that it is strictly an attrition card, but really Palace of Sorrows and Mace means that it's more targeted removal than it is, whittling away at the outer, ends of someone's board and then marching away the large character. Um,
yeah, no, you just want to be hitting the big character.
yeah. So I mean, it's oftentimes that I don't even play a House Flora Knight until the Palace turn because
Right.
really you want to be getting the maximum value out of your House Florent Knights, and you know the best way to do that is with the Mason play on a Palace turn. So
One thing I'll say is that it's the deck is so good outside of this
mm,
that like you don't ever feel like you need to hit this down until you're answering something that you really want to answer.
yeah, not to mention you know these ambush characters. I think that the synergy is very strong, but they're very expensive. Even in the many face god deck, you're getting a reduction by one, but oftentimes you want to be able to afford two, um, or more ambush characters in a specific turn. So I do think an emphasis on economy is still very important. So I actually think I agree, upon reflection, that we should cut March to the Wall and First Snow of Winter here. Um, you know, Caveat that First Snow at least buys back our ambush characters, so it's something we might consider. But obviously, if you're playing a First Snow, a lot of times you want to play a March to the Wall, and it just on that chance that you're able to catch an opponent with an awkward start. But it's not necessarily something that like I want to be playing that combination of plots just for that circumstance. So I think that with it being a Rains deck, we can pretty safely play two Late Summer Feast as our big economy. I think a big question here is, do we still want to try to play Heir to the Iron Throne?
I do. I want to hit that mace as soon as possible,
Okay.
or the or the Marjorie to hit the mace.
Right. Well, and it turns our little, it just gives us. I mean, obviously, it's just going to give us that Reigns threat that much sooner as well,
Mhm.
because any of the three big characters in the deck all can trigger Reigns by themselves. Um, So that being said, is there any reason that in the games that we've played, maybe, or in the context of Reigns, that you wouldn't want to have Brand the Builder in the plot line here? I mean, I do think that in the games we played, it was very noticeably different when we did or didn't have Hightower in play. Um, it is one of the more powerful locations in the game, still. Do you feel were you high on Bran the Builder in this deck, or do you feel like we should maybe look for an alternative?
I think I'm higher on it after having played a few games with it than
Mm,
before we put it in the deck.
sure.
It has felt pretty strong. Like it's fairly consistently getting you two cards. I don't care that we got Reigns. Like if
Mhm.
we win one challenge and then the range challenge, we can trigger this before he Reigns, right? So we're getting
Exactly.
full value still.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Well, that leaves us with one non-scheme plot and five scheme plots. Is there an obvious non-scheme plot that's jumping out to you here, that we should consider? Perhaps more money? Do we want to play like a trading with the Pentoshi, and just get really greedy with our plot economy, or is there some sort of like, um, when revealed, that we're wanting to play, since we're going to be flipping out of plots from time to time with our Reigns triggers?
Um, I I think that I am interested by the Tyrell plot, the like strength bump plot, but
Oh, okay.
probably not enough. But
Mhm.
but and money, right? Like I don't know that trading is what I want to play. I haven't played trading in a long time. Um,
Mhm.
but like give this deck some money and it's gonna go crazy. So
Mhm.
like if we just want to get greedy, I'm in.
I kind of want to try it. We haven't yet played double LSF trading, but this, because of Rains, I feel a little bit more justified in playing the second Late Summer Feast. A lot of times that double five reserve and giving your opponents a bunch of cards just it it's hard to stomach. But I think in this circumstance where, maybe at least 50% of the time we're flipping out of it, or we're forcing our opponent to play in such a way that those turns go poorly for them otherwise. Um, I'm inclined to try to play the trading. We have some other sort of like um, splashy uh, splashy plots in terms of Valor and Palace being sort of plots that we tend to use when we're trying to get characters off the board. Um, and then we have sort of our value plot here in Brand the Builder. Plus, we're going to have a whole suite of value in terms of our scheme plots. So I feel like really our main line should largely be economy and uh, you know and the two sort of quote unquote reset plots, or however you
I'm
want to
in.
view them. So
I'm in.
let's give it a try. I there's no way we can. I'd love to play a plot like For the Realm, but we literally don't have any cards in the deck that can be reduced. So I think if that were an option, I would look at that. That being said, the alternative would be just probably another value plot like Time of Plenty or something like that. And I feel like trade routes, we can't reliably trigger. We probably can't reliably name ourselves and get more than 4 gold in a game. And I feel like if a trade routes is on average only netting you 6 or 7 gold, it's probably not, but doesn't belong in the deck. Um, I'm not sure I have a heuristic for trade routes just yet, but it doesn't feel right in this
Yeah,
deck for me.
we're probably playing too many unique locations. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Um, yeah, I like the trading. I like that now that we're playing two late summer feasts and a valor. It kind of looks like the Rains was intentional.
yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about schemes real quick. There have been a few released since the last time I earnestly played a Reigns deck, but I feel like some of them are still just going to be staples in the Reigns plotline. We're playing Tyrell. I think this is a perfect opportunity to play a card like Pulling the Strings.
Sure.
Is it just strictly worse than Riddle, though?
I think so. I think those are really interesting slots, like, and probably more like more meta determined than
Hmm.
we can figure out right now. But I would prefer
Sure.
I would prefer the riddle.
I mean, we never know what we're going to face in these random games. It's not indicative of the meta at all. But we have been playing now for this is our, well, technically it's our fifth week since we missed last week due to technical difficulties. But I think we kind of have some of a sense for the where the meta's at, and obviously we've been running back cards like Brand the Builder, For the Realm, Late Summer Feast. None of which are really cards that Pulling the Strings or Varus's Riddle take advantage of.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit greedy to play both. I do think, however, you want to play one or the other. Um,
Oh yeah. I don't think you ever have enough slots to play both.
okay. So in that case, it sounds like you are valuing Riddle more than the Pulling the Strings.
Yeah, almost just because of the reserve, like the
That's
one
true.
more
Hmm.
reserve. It's like
Hmm.
the effects are like you might want one over another depending on the matchup, but they're
Sure.
fairly comparable, and one's got higher reserve.
That's true. Okay. All right. So we're playing a Riddle. I think another scheme that's probably a shoe in for us because of Marjorie is
Yeah,
Wildfire.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe it doesn't need to be said, but just mid challenges, kill your low cost Lord Chud, maybe whittle their board down slightly, and then go get a big character out of the deck. You know, it can be powerful without Marjorie in play, but with Marjorie, it's just an obvious include.
Yeah.
And like you said, now we're getting into kind of meta
And
decisions.
we've got Mason, we got Mason House Fortnite to think about there too. So another way to take advantage of that.
I'm not sure I'm following.
Just if you make the board smaller, there's like
Sure.
more. It's more
Okay.
likely that there's a like favorable House Fortnite target left
That's true. That's
on the
true. Yeah.
board.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Like say a non-palace turn, perhaps.
Hmm.
Okay. I mean, there are some sort of classic Reigns plots that we could consider here. Um, Power behind the throne, filthy accusations, um, Game of
Game of Thrones.
Thrones. Uh, but there are also a lot of new schemes that we could consider here. Um, One that is pretty meta dependent, but in the right matchup could be quite good. Exposed duplicity. I'm not sure shadows is a large
It
enough
doesn't seem like it.
representative.
No,
Yeah,
we're playing wheels though, right?
we probably should play wheels now that you mention it. Once again, another high reserve plot. Um,
Hmm.
we're likely playing three different events that are um, good for us, and I think in um, well, that sucks. I don't know why that happened, but for some reason, uh, Thrones DB kind of kicked me out of the editing of the deck there. So I'll go ahead and make
What?
these changes real quick, and
You
maybe
lost your cookie.
maybe save. What's that?
So you lost your cookie.
Yeah, I lost my cookie. Okay, so but go ahead and sort of continue on that train of thought while I get us caught up here.
Which train of thought was that?
Wheels within
Wheels.
wheels.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're playing at least 6 events. It's like a great plot to to use kind of early if you don't like if another plot isn't quite the right option. Like it's a really safe, right? It's got 7 reserve. It's real safe. Safe one to go into turn one if you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
And we've got some really powerful events or restricted cards in events. So why
yeah.
don't we go get it?
We're also probably, I think what I was trying to say before we lost our cookie was we're probably going back to playing some amount of Emissary of the High Tower too if we play this plot potentially. So
I
some
don't know about that.
um, darn it. Um, we could play.
I think we want to play Game of Thrones.
It is quite powerful in the right scenario.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we could play Power Behind the Throne, like, and
mhm.
maybe is this where we're at? Are we at 3?
We are at three currently. Yes.
Okay. I think Game of Thrones, Power Behind the Throne is like my initial thinking, but I do want to look through these more because I, like you, have not put one of these in a little bit.
Right. Not a new card, but a redesigned card. Is three two-cost loyal characters enough to warrant playing a card like Breaking Ties?
Hmm. Probably not.
I think I agree with you, but I felt like it was worth considering. Um, so some of the other new ones, maybe new to us, I should say, would be um, the Crone. I don't think that's really where we want to be.
No.
The late Lord Frey. I don't think that's where we want to be. The pointy end. So we have a sort of attachment removal and or dupe removal. This is a I think this is definitely a consideration. We don't have any current ways to get rid of negative attachments on our characters, but they'd have to have two, so
Right,
not
someone would
not
have to
great.
overcommit.
Yeah, and otherwise it removes a dupe from a character, which is not a terrible thing since we have Valor, but maybe not what we want to be doing with one of our plot slots. Um,
I know. I don't think I like. I kind of like it because I like it in a deck where maybe I've got bodyguards and I can like get rid of an important attachment on one of my characters,
sure.
like a milk or something,
Yeah.
by sacrificing the bodyguard. But we don't have that option here,
Hmm.
because it just like is more flexible in that situation.
Sure.
I think it's probably not good enough.
Okay.
Like again, especially because like the other options are probably going to have slightly higher reserve.
Sure. Yeah, that's totally fair. And it's also worth noting we are not going to be playing Wind Eye just because I think Bounty is much stronger in the deck, much more sort of essential to our economy engine.
Mm.
Um, I think I like your idea of going with Game of Thrones and Power Behind the Throne here. Um, Two really solid abilities. We've got plenty of characters that are quite the threat on their own. So standing a character in the challenges phase is quite good, especially after a big Rains trigger. And obviously, Game of Thrones just can completely nullify a challenges phase for our opponent given the right circumstances. Um, I feel good about this plot line. Um, I don't think there's any changes I want to make to the locations. Um, or the events unless we're cutting Iron Bank, the the faction Neil sort of bottleneck here.
And it's a real bottleneck. Like
It is, yeah.
because like you said, like playing Reigns, a lot of the value that you get is the threat of activation, right? Like
Hmm.
your opponents have to play around all five potential plots, which
Right.
generally means that they don't want to let you get the trigger. Like
Yeah.
whether it's right or not, like
Hmm.
five plots is a lot to not know like the possibilities. And
Sure.
so like stopping the entry challenge against rain stacks is really prioritized, and
Right.
if we in marshaling phase use this to play more things, um like maybe we should play this in a deck that doesn't have like three plots with insane gold value on them.
Sure. Okay. Well, then let's cut it. I think that's sound logic, and I also think we still have ways to return our spies to hand and cheat them into play with cards like Behold Our Bounty and Orton Merriweather.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. Since we're playing Reigns, is there should we consider maybe playing some of the strength boosting events and or attachments, such as Lord Renly's Ride, Growing Strong, or um, the one cost attachment. Um, the name is Crown of Golden Roses.
I love those cards. I don't know that this is the right deck for strength pump still.
Sure.
um
Yeah, I don't think I want to play it, but I just thought we should probably visit it a little bit. Um, I will say in a deck that's slanting towards winning entry challenges by five, Pinch of Powder gains a little bit of intrigue to me. I'm not sure if it's enough to make it in the deck, but
Yeah, it's an insanely powerful effect.
mm,
We should definitely consider it. Uh, I don't know that this deck looks like it's gonna play it to me, but like we got to find these three slots. I don't know if we're playing events or
mhm.
um
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and I also think that we might want to, yeah, just quickly look at the character, sort of the sort of the character choices that we've made thus far. Are
yeah,
there
we made
any?
changes. We probably I don't know that we talked about all these changes that we made. Like,
Yeah.
because in the second recording we went away from many face God, which cut the spy count down, which
Mhm.
then we wanted Heir to the Iron Throne because we could play Heir to the Iron Throne, and so in came a bunch of little lords and ladies, and um, and this is where we landed. I don't know.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything there?
No, yeah, we cut the emissaries while not a spy, just kind of expensive, and we really only had a handful of events, and especially now that we're cutting the Iron Bank Lava Stew, I think that's still a solid cut. We cut the Shrewd Diplomats just because they are so expensive to ambush, and decided that we would be okay with just the 10 spies, um, plus the three Orton Merryweathers, in terms of triggering our Behold Our Bounties. Um,
Oh, funny that you say 10 spies because I don't think that either of us thought about that until one of the games where we're like, oh, we can return this Varys with a milk on him to hand to threaten the Varys again in one of the games, which is now lost to time.
indeed, indeed, it was humorous, and
Yeah.
enlightening all in one go.
Mhm.
I think that I'm okay with the characters as they stand. So I think we're gonna want to find, yeah, some cards outside of those. I think the logical place to start looking is events. We have wheels within wheels, and we just cut 3 events from the deck. Um, I don't like the strength pump events that much, but if there was one that I did like, it would probably be Lord Renly's Ride. Um,
Yeah. Lord Renly's Ride's great. Oftentimes you're playing at turn one without even getting a strength up because Intimidate is so powerful. Um, don't know that we're doing it in a deck with one Randall, but
right.
what else? What else do we got? I mean,
There's. I know you used to be a real big Nightmares guy.
ooh,
When we are playing other events already, so not
don't tell me there's a
necessarily
good time.
not necessarily a lightning rod for hands judgments, as it can be in some builds. Um, I'm thinking it's nightmares, or it's pinch of powder, or some
Nightmares.
combination of the two.
Let's
Okay,
let's do the let's do the nightmares.
all right. Because we could also go
Oh,
like,
feels so good.
it's good to have you back. Okay, well, this is 60 cards, and in the interest of time, I think we should just hop right into some games. What do you say?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. I will pause real quick, and we'll be back when we've got a game. Okay, we are back, and we are
Ooh.
facing Lanny Many-Faced God. Um, let's see here. Should I make an adjustment to the card size? I
I
think
think no.
I think no, because yeah, because I'm on the
It's too big.
laptop. So,
Okay, are you informing or are we moving on?
no.
Okay.
So we have pretty good setup here.
Either two
I
cards or four.
think
It's
it's 2, 2, 4. It's four. It's 4 cards, I think. Although setting up the arbor, we're keeping the
setting
hand no
up the
matter
arbor
what.
is yeah. Setting up the arbor is tempting, but I like four cards too.
I think we gotta set up 4 cards. I mean, we didn't play three big money plots for nothing.
Yeah. Nice
Yeah,
setup.
it's always painful to try and to marshal the arbor. Um, but like I said, we have enough money in the plot line, and it's not like we aren't starting with some economy in terms of we'll have a Rose Road and a High Tower in play. Um, yeah,
Yeah, sounds good.
our opponent has not kept or mulliganed yet. Um, so and just
Darn, I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say right before we paused. I think it's gone.
yeah, no worries.
Uh, y- maybe we ought to, mess up the recordings more often because I think this deck ended up much better than the original deck. We haven't even played the games yet, but it
Yeah.
already feels better.
You know, it tends to do that when you have a number of
Yeah.
repetitions and some data points to draw from. Um, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here, and hopefully our opponent will show up, and if not, we'll get a new game
Oh, good catch.
in. Okay, and we are back. Unfortunately, our previous opponent never made it to the mulliganing phase. But looks like we've lost our opponent again. So apologies, but one more brief delay. Okay, I believe, have found an opponent willing to play. Thank you for waiting. This is a mulligan.
Yeah. No
It is
money.
not it is not good as good as our last keep in the game we didn't get to play. Um, okay, well we at least have some limited. Lanny Crossing.
Do it. Just jam
Ha-
it on him, dude. Jam it on him.
Mace, or Renly?
I think Redley's more valuable like this early.
So Renly
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Oh
Oh,
no.
oh, oh,
That's not a good. That's not good.
oh. Okay. Well, they haven't
Crossing.
chosen.
You
They
need
haven't.
the characters to make challenges, dude. What are you doing with crossing?
Okay. Um.
Oh boy.
I suppose it's just late summer feasts.
It's got to be. Yeah. Oh.
Hey,
We got that.
hey. Yeah.
What a greedy keep. My God, they're playing like a fair Lanny deck and they just
Well, you know,
keep all
they could
locations.
be playing jumpers. That was kind of a crossing archetype back in the day, was crossing jumpers. You know, didn't need a lot of money to make all your challenges. Going
For sure.
first, okay. Yeah, so they
I
wanna
think that if
that makes
I
sense.
think that if I'm Lannister and I see like a Tyrell opponent, I'm not keeping this start. But
Sure.
I don't know their hand either. So
Mhm.
maybe it's like fucking triple Cersei, and I'm gonna shut up real soon. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna remember to play the High Garden first before playing any
Oh, sick.
characters. Yeah, dude, the sickest
Yeah.
in place.
Don't worry, nobody watched that. See?
It's like it didn't even happen. We didn't lose any
Nobody
of the
watched
games that we
any
record.
times that that happened.
We didn't lose any of the games that ultimately were
Yeah,
recorded
one
but
we
not
only didn't lose
watchable.
because the opponent was like not patient at all and left in the middle. But they had us dominated as like a new wall
Indeed.
deck.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, how sick would the House Floor Knight into March to the Wall be here? Just
Oh,
okay. Well, we're definitely getting a high tower down, like regardless of anything else that we do this turn.
absolutely.
Um, we're not playing aloof anymore, but we could just play Seeming Septon. Allery or Scheming Septon House Florent Knight or Scheming Septon Marjorie.
Let's keep
Um,
me step. Oh, fuck, they've got 2 cancels. Okay, this Half Florent Knight isn't doing shit.
that's true. So I think it's just Scheming Septon and see what we draw.
Yeah, they're gonna cancel, but yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. We could. Is it?
I think we play the 4 drop.
And then
Or
probably play the other two drops so that we can play the Informer.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We're gonna give them lots of opportunities to cancel stuff here. It seems like maybe this is a place they'd use the guild hall,
Yeah.
but if I were them, okay, I think I'm okay with that, especially with the Mason hand. And I do think we just want to get the
Yeah.
Scheming Septum down here.
Yeah. Second scheming scepter. Now that I don't know why they would use the one that can't cancel the scheming septons, but I'm in.
Yeah. It's worth noting that a military challenge just loses one of these Scheming Septons, but
Rest in peace, scheming septons.
yeah. If they make a military challenge, then we're definitely triggering Rains. So at least I thought we were.
Oh,
Okay.
jumpers. Here we go.
Yep. Jumpers it is.
No Cersei. No Cersei. No Cersei.
Oh, they hit Cersei.
Oh, they hit Cersei. Maybe they need money. They should definitely just pick Cersei. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we don't just win the game turn 1. I guess. Damn.
Darn it. All right. Gonna go ahead and take this one on the chin.
Yep.
And is it bye bye Allery or bye bye Scheming Septum?
Uh, I think I'd leave it. I think I'd leave my options for air open and kill off the septon.
Yeah, plus the Allery and the Scheming Septum threaten the Rains trigger by themselves. I could have blocked that because it was a crossing challenge, but I don't think I wanted to either way.
Are we making a military challenge here? Probably not. Huh?
Mm, I don't think so, but I'm thinking we're just making a big intrigue challenge. Um, so we can get past this Cersei and trigger our Reigns,
Yeah, makes sense.
which means no defenders here.
Not
Not
so.
great. Not great.
What are we flipping into here?
Yeah, I might be getting ahead of myself, but okay. I think I'm
Nightmares.
totally fine trading one card for one card here.
Man, people are. I don't ever understand that. I guess.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
sure.
ever understand that play.
Well, we could flip into wheels or the stand, I think.
Yeah, I think those are the 2.
And if we stand, what are we accomplishing? A military challenge that
Uh,
kills the reducer,
yeah, no,
or
let's flip into wheels. Let's see.
yeah?
Let's grab a card. Okay. Like
Do
if they don't
we
play the nightmares there, we get to play the stand plot and then get
do
another
we
card.
do we draw a card and win dominance?
I don't think so.
Feels like heir to the Iron Throne here.
I agree. Yeah.
Get a high garden trigger in the plot phase. Hopefully, put a dupe down on one of our two characters. Oh, that's awkward.
I had done twice. Grab one of these two events. Come on, you can do it.
Well, I guess we want. Well,
I think we want heir to the Iron Throne
yeah,
first,
because I
don't
mean, yeah, absolutely. Because if
we?
we hit one of these two, we want to put them in play.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
We'll take a dupe.
yep. Hey, okay. Well, I hit a character, but not one of the crucial ones. So that was good for us. Good enough.
Yeah, I mean, they're on 7. I don't know how good, but
Hmm. Okay. Um. Hmm.
let's remarshal the 2 drop here just to draw a card, right?
Marshall the two drop. Yeah, I mean the alternative is just a
Just the
Marjorie
Marjorie.
plus Nightmares money.
I'm in for that.
Unfortunately, we don't have, and then we can still play the Informer in Challenges phase with the Septon.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, cool.
Do we want to Nightmares this Tywin now, or and deny them the gold, or is there just too much economy on the board already?
It's probably too much, right? What do you think?
Yeah, my inclination is that there's too much already.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really needed that House Floor at night. Um, it would have
House
given
fucking
us
night
a nice
would have
out to
been
this
good.
Tywin.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. We got our own dupes, big boy. Like, man, now we really want Little Lord. Like,
Hmm.
we, I guess I don't know how much we do because he's got 2 cancels on the board, so we'd have to play both nightmares. But
Right. I will say that first snow march would have been pretty class in this game, but I still think the right call was not playing them. That being said, we might be able to get a cheeky Game of Thrones off this turn. Okay, they're going deep here.
Lion Star's good. But what's up? What's the character?
Uh, After an army or knight enters play under your control, it gains 1 gold. After a character enters your discard pile, discard 1 gold to return it to hand.
Okay.
Okay, Tywin's super duped.
Okay.
Um,
We get it, bro.
I think we just get in there for 5 on the intrigue, make them defend,
Do it.
and if they don't, we can just flip into Game of Thrones.
We can go 6 and win it with the nightmares if we want
I
to
like
trade.
I like that. I think that's better. Okay.
No defenders.
It's Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah. Let's win ourselves a turn. They're at 7. We're um we're gonna be in trouble if he's got a hear me roar and a useful thing. But
Hmm. Okay. Um, Not a bad hit for future turns. Um, I think we make a power challenge here with the Scheming Septon, or perhaps that's. I mean, because I think I
I
want to
think
play
we
this.
just pass.
Okay,
I think we pass
that's fine.
because I don't know how thin a margin I want to play here with this intrigue challenge. Like if we make a challenge and then we can't defend.
Well, we can have the same strength in
I
play,
see what you're.
but they
Yeah,
could cancel it, so it's probably not
yeah,
worth it.
and they would cancel it, right?
Yeah, so I think it's probably not worth it. Yeah, so I think what they'll try to do is they'll try to leading with the intrigue challenge is not going to do it because we can defend for 7, and on board they'll have 6. But they could Lion Star in an intrigue character, and then we might be in trouble. But that's okay. We'll just have to live with that.
Yeah.
Okay, they want the 2 gold. That's interesting. I mean, they should do it anyways, but I wonder if they actually have something to do with it. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. All right. I guess we're discarding a couple cards.
Yeah, one of these spy events and probably the lady.
I think so. What, if any? I mean, they're probably just playing another heads on spikes here.
Hmm. I think we probably play trading here. Like he's
Yeah,
got 2 points
they're
and
on 2 cards. I think I agree. Yeah, and there's the heads on spikes. I mean, it's probably going to hit our mace, but at least our hand has 4 non-characters in hand.
yeah.
Yeah, we're in a tough spot here. They've accumulated a lot of power in a short amount of time, as crossing tends to do. And this Tywin is certainly not making things easier for us. Um, okay,
Oh,
let's see what happens there.
got
Okay,
lucky there.
got lucky. Man, that march to the wall. Although we're never triggering a Varys on this board state, but
We're never. I mean, is the yeah.
okay. I think it's possible we just want to marshal this with some money on it. Um, or we could just play the mace and draw a card that way. I suppose that's probably fine too.
I think we probably are playing the mace, aren't we?
I think so. I mean, we have too much money to not.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Well, it can't
Okay.
be. No,
I'm not sure we're in triggering mace for power
I
territory.
don't think so. Nope.
I think we probably want to get this old town down though.
Yes, I like playing Old Town and passing.
I agree. Okay. This was a good trading turn for us, I think.
Yep,
Um,
I'm satisfied by that.
I think we just kind of, well, I see. I think we do need to start winning other challenges other than intrigue. That being said, if we're triggering Reigns this turn, it's probably for power bind the throne. So maybe we can lead with the Renly attack again. Um, Try to get them to kneel the Tywin and nightmares it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I win. There we go. Dirty.
There we go.
Oh, what a draw.
There we go. Okay. So now we would like to win a power challenge. Um, can we just declare Marjorie in this, or should we play around? I mean, what's the chances that they put a
I think we just play. I think we just do it with the Marjorie. Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, if they're putting a character in play and all out defending the power challenge here, I think we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Do you think we're macing this Allery
It's very possible.
before
Are we
standing? I don't think we have anything else to do with
are
the.
we making another challenge this turn?
No, we aren't. I don't think. Oh, I guess we could. Although this probably is getting Guildhall, but we can at least
It's
check it.
not. The Guildhall can't target it.
Oh, it can't take art because it's got shadows. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then absolutely we are. Probably another power challenge.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Now this can be Guildhalled.
Oh yeah, we can. And it will be. That's okay. Oh, we should have Old Town there.
Hmm.
Whoopsie. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I guess we can do this in dominance. Might as well just do this now, even though we should have done it before.
Yeah.
I guess we can do it in dominance as well.
Yep,
Losing a
yep.
military challenge here.
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
probably killing this informant.
I agree.
I think I'm okay going to dominance here. I think they want to get this Guildhall back into play
They
before we
do.
trigger this, but I guess they could do it now and then Guildhall the. Yeah,
You wanna trigger Old Town here?
yes, I do. Always character, unless we know otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. Hightower always first. We'll trigger. I guess we try to get the bait. I guess we don't really care about the draw so much. So we'll trigger the
Yeah.
Allery. Then we'll trigger the Mace. And I think we do use it.
Yeah, I
Don't
agree.
think there's any
I mean, we're
reason
not
not
doing
to.
anything else with this money.
Sure. We can wait on the Old Town trigger. Old Town, Red Wine Straits, Varus, I think.
Yes.
So we're definitely Palace of Sorrowsing here. Hoping we can go first so that we can get around. So we only have to deal with one Guildhall trigger.
Yeah, we could also no, yeah. That's where we're playing.
Just now realizing Rains with Palace, but we've kind of worked
Oh,
through most of our Rains stuff anyway. Okay, that sucks. Hmm, hmm.
um, that's a good question. Good question.
Yeah, because there's probably no chance that this House Fortnite's getting rid of Tywin with the Guildhall in play,
Nope.
and a red keep. Um, that
So
being
I guess you
said,
keep the two characters. Is that what?
that being said, I mean, I don't think we're keeping two characters. I think we still have to keep Mace.
Okay. You want to go first here? I think we go second now.
Yeah, too late.
Okay.
So I guess we just go ahead and get rid of the Guildhall trigger now. No, we
Yeah.
nightmares. We nightmares the Guildhall.
I mean, he'll cancel this one or the challenge phase one. I think
Hmm.
either way.
Yeah. So I
Right?
guess. Yeah. So I guess really we're only getting one trigger off. Um,
Wait, but we can't. He would just replay it, so we have the nightmares to get any triggers off, right?
right. Um,
Which location is that in play?
I'm
The
sorry.
first one on his side.
The Gold Road.
Okay. Um,
Hmm. I think it's probably like our best hope is like trying to get this Tywin down to no dupes, and then Valoring. I mean, they're
yeah.
still constricted by cards, right? So um, we can do this and play an additional character.
Yep. Do it.
Okay. Oof.
Let's say we've had a real tough time drawing bounties in any of these games.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, we're getting hosed by this guild hall. If somehow
Guildhall.
if somehow it weren't in play, we we could tax it. We could standing phase mace and then get one more trigger of Florinite uh, in taxation. Okay. Um, no pre challenges. I think we just want to make a mill. You in agreement on making challenges at all here?
Yeah, I absolutely. We should definitely make challenges.
Yeah.
I think we might want to make the intrigue first with the Chud.
We could also copy their Valor to Horus and
What does that do?
get rid of the Lorch. So military, they lose the merchant, and then we double intrigue, and they lose the Lorch, and
Yeah, we
then
could
we
try it.
um. Oh wow.
Oh wow.
What? Okay.
Is he
Okay.
gonna win this fight?
They're trying to win, so we should probably hold back in that case.
Yeah.
We can lose the House Florent to the military claim. We can defend and win the power challenge unless they come with two characters on that, and then we can also defend depending on the ordering, obviously. The alternative is that we make the power challenge here, and then we have intrigue and power defense, but we lose both of them. We lose all three challenges. Two of them are defended. Renown, power claim is 3, plus crossing is 4. So they go to 13, but we want a power challenge. They
Yeah,
also,
let's you gotta
I
they've
think we
they've
got,
got we don't know all the information either. They could have another card in hand that's
of
relevant.
course, and I think we're probably dead to most cards in their hand. I think we might have to push a power challenge here. We can still defend both. I mean, they're not going to just lead with a, they're not going to lead with a 3 strength power challenge and let us defend and then use Septon and then put Informer into play and then defend Intrigue. I think they'll lead military and then they'll probably go Intrigue power.
Yeah.
Although, because of Palace, uh, they maybe they do have to make the crossing challenge with two characters, unless it's the military. So maybe they wait. They do maybe that makes sense. Maybe they do the crossing challenge with military because they only have to make it with one character.
Intrigue power military, yeah.
In which case, we still I think want to go in with a power challenge here.
Or do we want
Um,
to just oppose the power?
just oppose the power. Okay, let's do that.
Or I guess if we oppose two challenges, it's the same
Hmm.
power differential, right?
Yeah,
So
it's just
let's make the
one.
power challenge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of cards that we're dead to too, so we'll
Oh, there's
see.
also they could put the guild hall. No, that the guild hall doesn't work on this. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Ton of cards that we're dead to. Okay, and I don't think there's any sense in triggering the Septon or any of that until after challenges are made.
Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
Sure. Okay, so they do lead military. Because Guildhall, we're never getting another HFK trigger off, so I think that's just going to go. So this is 2.
Now we win this intrigue. Deny renown.
Sure. Although, do they end up with less power this way if the plan is to Valor next turn?
Um,
So let's say we just defend this challenge and lose, then defend the power challenge and lose. So they're going to go to 11 on Renown. They're going to go to 12 on Power Claim or on Crossing Trigger, 13 on Claim, and then probably Dom to 14. And here we oppose, and then they make the Power Challenge unopposed, 11 Crossing Trigger, 13 Power Challenge. Yeah, I think we'll just oppose this here.
yeah.
I can't go more fast, Martins. That's your job. You're playing the crossing deck. Need to remember to Old Town here.
Yeah, just do it now. We know its character.
Yeah. To get through both their heads on spikes here. Any sense in taxing this Guildhall? I mean, we're losing the mace, right? So we could tax it here. Then they've got to at least pay 2 to bring it back out, and we get a high tower trigger in taxation.
But they can do it in the standing. Well, we'd want to wait till next phase if we were going to do that.
Why?
Because they can just, if they cancel here, they can just bring it back out of shadows.
No,
Before
because
the
in
close.
taxation they're going to lose all their money at the beginning of the phase.
Yeah, which is why we should wait till then to trigger, right?
It doesn't come back into play until the taxation phase
The
begins. So
trigger happens in standing.
oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying the mace trigger. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we don't need the Orden dupe. Okay, so we could trigger it here, but then that's kind of signaling the Valor. Is it signaling the Valor?
I don't know. Let's just go. I don't know either way. I think it doesn't matter that we signal the Valor. I don't think. Because we have to play it.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of knelt our faction card too for
True.
Rains, so we can't trigger
True, but
again.
we're not putting enough strength and play on the Valor turn, I don't
Yeah,
think, to threaten it. But yeah. Yeah, the problem is here they've got Wind Die, and they're probably going to be able to get a crossing trigger, and that's probably going to be game.
a
Hey, we
Cersei
did.
wins the game.
Yeah, for sure.
GG.
That feels like a Cersei.
We can.
Okay. Um,
Yep.
make some money. I mean, we can if this is all they have, but
Yeah, we need it. We need to get the Orton trigger so we can get the nightmares. Is that
they're gonna cancel it, right?
maybe?
I mean, the
Maybe.
alternative is we play the Marjorie
Yeah, I
and
guess we can't play
the,
both.
the two
Yeah,
drop.
let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, we get money too. If they let us get the trigger, we can play the 3 drop.
Yeah,
If that would even be advantageous. Huh?
I think they'll red keep this.
You need an intrigue icon to be relevant, I think. Man, there's still so many cards we're dead to. Like, this
Oh,
line
for
star
sure.
hasn't done anything all game.
No, strangely, it has not. Okay, they let us do it. All right. We've already played limited, so I think we're just passing. I think that beats us.
GG.
We'll play it out, but
Can't do anything about the military challenge, so.
mhm. Yeah. So unopposed military go to 13, and then they're gonna get it's for sure GG.
GG.
Yeah. All they got to do is make the mill first. Well played, well played, and it's our first loss on the channel. I mean, I don't feel like we made any major misplays in the game. Some minor ones certainly. Um,
Yeah, I mean, what do you do when the opponent gets to half the win condition turn one? Like, we were always kind of fighting an uphill battle there. They just had a really strong start, and I think our deck is just like way more value oriented. So, um, like we win these games if they go a little bit longer, and we lose them if they go a little bit shorter.
mhm. They did also. Did they hit on both? I think they hit on both of their heads on spikes.
They did not. No,
Did they not? No.
they
They
hit
hit on
the
the.
short ones.
They hit what once?
They hit the what are the events ones?
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Both the two cancels were really rough actually because our deck has a
oh,
lot a
absolutely. Yeah.
lot of incredibly powerful character abilities,
Mhm.
and so I it looked underwhelming. The setup did not look strong but I didn't know that he had duped Tywin in hand, right? So
Right. Yeah. Yep, and the Tywin just fueled. I mean, they had a lot of excess economy the whole game, but I mean, they got out to such a quick lead. And this crossing, you can really close the gap from pretty far out pretty quickly. So, do we want to make any changes? Do we want to get another game in?
yeah, I don't think that is there any changes that you are considering?
I don't think so. Shall I
Yeah,
ask our opponent if they mind?
yeah, we should. You got a good setup here. 4 cards. You got 62 cards in their deck. Sweet.
All right. Well, this is a keep.
We plop them down. This is the start that we had in the
Is
other
the
deck.
exact start, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say that about yourself, Roland. Okay.
Ooh,
It's a good start
nice
from
one
them
over there.
too.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could totally fucking just
What are you talking about?
jam the House Fortnite turn one if we wanted to, but we
I
probably got time.
mean, what are we accomplishing with that?
Clearing the Rob.
Okay, I'm in.
I don't think that I like. I don't know that we have to like. I'm not.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's enough value probably. Um, we probably want to go first just to avoid the dupe.
Yep. And since the military challenge will be stronger. Uh-oh. He doesn't super like this apparently.
I don't know if I
That's
would go as
true.
far as saying that. That might be
Well,
slightly
I mean,
hyperbolic.
oh my.
Oh my. Well, it's a good thing
Forgot
they
the
don't have
truth
anything
for a
else in
second
play.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so we could play the House Florent Knight and also get the red wine straights down.
Sounds like
Um,
exactly what I thought. Could go more aggressive, but I think this is fine.
yeah. It's probably one of the more stupid cards that still is around, certainly. But so we've got a winter plot here. Possible that this is German Nats deck, although I don't think it played that Sansa, so maybe not. Um, Nor that. So character comes
Military
out of sorrow,
challenge.
sacrifice. Okay. All right, military, kilitary, as Mira likes to say, um, and probably others.
Uh,
We just make all three challenges this turn, right?
sure.
Do we want to Old Town now before we draw a
Yeah, I
card
think
with
so.
Hightower?
Yeah. We gotta ditch quite a few cards.
That's okay. We could raise claim here and discard even more cards.
I don't think we want to do that.
Hmm. We we may have. That's all right. Okay. Um, so we're discarding a red wine straits, probably a nightmares. This House Florent Knight has probably seen their time in the sun.
Probably.
Um, I think we're keeping Bounty, Mace, Mace, Septon. So it's one other card. Is it a Nightmares, a Garland, or this Behold Our Bounty?
What do you think?
I don't think the night we're getting a ton of value out of the Nightmares in this matchup.
Yeah.
And we don't currently have a spy anymore. So I like the military icon.
Yep. Yeah, that looks good to me.
I think we're just playing Late Summer Feast here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay.
Not a bad draw.
So we're gonna go ahead and Behold or Bounty of High Garden, go to 15. High Garden trigger has us at 16. We might as well just go ahead and Orton, get that back, I think.
I think so. We're
Um,
playing the Mace dupe too.
we're playing the Mace Dupe and the Garland, I think. We're playing all of them. So that's 4. We might want some Bestow. 11, 14. We could Bestow for 1.
Let's draw a card so we know what the
Yeah, this
spells
is
are.
the definite card we're playing. So let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see what that. Okay, so that was a decent draw. Um, I don't know.
I
So
don't think so.
so we could go Garth for 3 and Garland for some amount. I think I want to get the Septon in play again. So I think we're
Yeah,
gonna
I think
pass
so
on
too.
this.
Yeah.
I think
Dupe,
Mace
Septon.
Dupe for sure, Septon for sure. Um, honestly, I don't mind.
Are we playing the 4 drop, the other 4 drop and the 3 drop now? Right? That might make sense.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Do
Yep.
we want the claim raise here? We have the spot. We have the small council character. Unfortunately, because of barring, I think we probably just want the money.
Yes.
We're passing on that and playing Garth the Gross. What happens if you
It works.
mace with a?
It works. It's normal.
Yeah, the character still comes in play. Okay.
Which ooh, Summer's a good card.
Summer is a good card. I think we're probably just Game of Thrones in here.
Makes sense.
Oof. Okay. Although, in order to do that, no, that's not going to work because we would need to attack with the mace, and then they have 4 coming back, so they could win the entry challenge and then make the military. Um, I think we could wildfire.
Wildflower sounds not too bad.
So I think we'll still. In that case, do we lead with the Septon? Just a little power challenge.
Yeah. Or do we care more about the power challenge than the card that we're giving him? Should we just make the intrigue challenge and flip out
That's
of it?
true with one card in hand. Yeah, I think we don't. I think we just make the. I just think we just make the intrigue. We could
Intrigue with all of them, right?
we could just intrigue
Or
with for 7 and then. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, intrigue with all of them definitely guarantees it, so it's probably correct. Rickon has pillage. It's worth noting.
Is it?
Come on. Okay. So I suppose we're killing the Merryweather and not putting a spy in play,
Or
I
the
think.
Septon? I don't think we're
Yeah,
killing the 3x.
that's true. It is a 3x. No, that's probably accurate. We're
We
almost
get to be
assuredly.
annoying and
What's that?
so we get to be annoying and make a military challenge on the small board.
Yeah. We're almost certainly losing the military on the way back, unless they only save one military icon and they choose to defend this challenge. I don't think they should do that, but it's certainly possible.
I think they have to now. Like maybe they don't have to. We can give up, you know, crappy little guy for crappy little guy, but we're in a position to trade one for
Hmm.
like we want to be trading one for one card here. So
Right. Okay. You were right. So we take probably an entry challenge here coming back.
mm-hmm.
They might trigger their old gate.
You should. They should.
Elect
They've
to
got
go for the power. I think I prefer that.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy about that. At 6 powers, you should probably not be taking that over resources.
Okay. Didn't trigger the old gate. Maybe have some way to draw cards. Oh, this seems like a straight winter plot deck. It's true with Sansa, they are slowly eking up on power here, so we have to be careful of that.
Ooh.
Air
Air the
probably.
Icon?
Yeah, I mean we got two lords in play, and this one puts a spy in play. Yeah, I think I like that. Oh, okay, interesting.
Hey,
Not a winter plot.
let us go first. We can go get Marjorie, kill off a lord.
Oh, it just couldn't be that clean. Okay, Randall it is.
Hmm.
I think it's. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not triggering anyways, but now we get to potentially draw him again, and then triggers reaction again, right?
right.
I
Mm,
think we probably do. Maybe at 5 powers, it's still too early, but we got a lot of money in hand. I guess we're only playing one, but
okay. I think we're just playing Big Garland here.
yeah.
Do we play the Bounty or the Great Hall?
I guess it's probably the Great Hall, unless the
I mean, I'd like to fully
like.
bestow this thing, and then I wouldn't mind having the Old Town Informer in challenges.
Well, well then let's do the bounty so we can take advantage of any like if the high garden trigger is any good.
Mhm. I think I like a full
Yeah,
bestow here
yeah, let's do it.
with the Randall in play. I think if we're doing that, we're doing that.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it. GG.
there was enough for them.
Yeah.
Well, not sure. Not sure what our opponent could have done a lot differently there.
Yeah, I mean their characters were just outclassed, right? I mean this is
Yeah.
just like the old 2.0 story of like big dudes are really good in this game, and if you're playing a fair game, but all your guys are smaller, and we're playing mostly a fair game, but all our guys are really big and do cool things. Um, you've got to have a really strong start to stay on top of this game.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think you correctly identified the House Florent Knight on turn one there. Just really, really kind of, I think, just messed up their entire game plan. So that's definitely one of the upsides of playing House Florent Knight is sometimes you just have it on turn one and they've got a pretty vulnerable, important character in play. Um, and that's really all you need to get off to that really good start. Yeah, so it's weird. We didn't lose a game technically with the Many-Faced God or the Aloof deck, but I feel like even though we lost that game against Lanny Crossing, I feel like we came out with a better deck, a better outcome in the end. How do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Both this deck feels stronger than both the Aloof deck and the Many-Faced God deck. Like you said, even though those decks won, I mean, we lost a game that Um, decks all decks have been losing to Animal Crossing for a long time, so all
Hmm.
good.
Yeah, and I maintain that there's probably a really awesome Tyrell Aloof deck, and
And
we
there
certainly
absolutely is, yeah,
yeah. We certainly could have gone in that direction more so. We tried to, we did. But yeah,
yeah,
so this was fun. I don't know if we'll double record this week, but try to have this out as soon as possible. And thank you as always to the listeners and the watchers. It's been awesome just seeing everybody sort of reach out and sort of um, you know tell us how they feel about the series and about how even a couple of people have come back to the game since we started doing these, which is super cool. And yeah, I'm just keep an eye out for the next one, and we'll catch you next time.
yeah, a good one.